So we're going to break down the Turkish Get Up as best as possible, just using your body weight first. And I do want you to practice it in its steps. Eventually you'll get a full understanding of it all put together. But what we need to do is drill it down. We need you to get you to practice the different segments of the Turkish Get Up over and over and over again. So first bit, guys, is called pull and roll. So Ryan is laying on his left shoulder. He's got his invisible kettlebell in his hands. So he'll have the kettlebell in his left hand and then he'll place his right hand on top. His knees are bent, he's laying on his shoulder. So the first bit I would like you to practice over and over and over again on your get up is the pull and roll. So you pull the kettlebell towards your navel as best as possible and just roll onto your back. And then from there, in all honesty, you just roll straight back again. All right, so you're going to do that over and over again, at least, honestly, if you can do it 10, 20 times, even 30, and saying pull and roll each time is going to help you remember how to do this initial step of your Turkish Get Up. So you've done the pull and roll, you're on your back. The next bit I want you to practice several times once again is the firing range position. So we call it, so press the invisible kettlebell up. They call it firing range so you like sort of visualizing that you're holding onto a gun, okay? From there, just starfishing your legs, okay? So you've got that next bit. Bring your legs back together for me, Ryan. Bring the invisible kettlebell back to your navel. So what is probably best is rolling back to your shoulder. Okay, so doing the first bit again, the pull and roll, and then adding on firing range position, starfish, knees back together, navel, and roll. So we'll do it one more time. So pull and roll, firing range position, starfish. Get that bit down pat, and then we'll add on the next bit. So, firing range position, we've got the starfish. So, when you roll from your left, guys, generally speaking, you would have the kettlebell in your left hand. So this is where it can get a bit confusing. Don't worry too much. You'll get it as we go along, as I said. So, invisible kettlebells in left hand, the legs are starfish, the left knee will bend. Okay, so he's still got that width in the legs, and then his right hand comes down, palm facing down. So, the tricky part is just trying to keep these legs, the leg and the arm parallel. We don't want this too wide, okay? We don't want it too narrow at the same time. This allows for the movement, okay? So, Ryan, let's go back. So, 2 hands on kettlebell, knees together, navel, roll. So from the start, pull and roll, firing range position. Starfish. Remember, the kettlebell will be in the left hand. So bending the left knee, right hand down, arm and leg parallel with each other. So practice that a few times. Let's just go back to the start, Ryan, so everyone can see. 2 hands on bell, knees together, navel, and roll. Once again, guys, practice a few times, get that bit, and then we add on again. Now, I think I've said tricky bit several times, but this is the real tricky bit, and that's okay. Remember, this all takes some time. Many people before you have got this, you'll get it too. The roll to post position is something which takes some practice. What we don't want you guys doing when you're rolling this way is coming up and crunching, all right? If you've got some heavy weight here, and you're trying to crunch up into the next position, it doesn't work. So Ryan will really have to press off of this left foot. He might even have to stomp his foot into the ground just to wake it up a bit. So it's like a heel to toe movement, just to get your foot a bit more active. He'll roll this way, this hip will lift up a little bit, and he'll come up onto his forearm or elbow. We try and keep the shin as close to vertical as possible. In other words, what we mean by vertical is not having the knee come in too much. So just straight like that. His chest is out. So the other thing we don't want to see is, we call this beach pose. All right, we're chilling out at the beach. All right. Remember, this is a very big focus on posture throughout this movement. So let's just come back to, so he'll push away from his elbow or with his elbow and come back onto his back. So rather than just going back to the start straight away, what we probably suggest is practicing this roll to post position a few times. So let's go again, Ryan. Chest out, shoulders away, legs are pretty good, and back again. Show them what we don't want, Ryan. See that? That was all just spine. And coming back. Now, if your right leg is flicking up, so show them what it looks like when your right leg flicks up. Okay, to try and avoid that, guys, we try and get Ryan to pull his toes towards his shins a little bit, but also pull this way with his leg. So he's going to pull into my hand. All right, it just stops that leg from flicking up. Okay, for some of you a little bit tight through there, that's what we might have to do. Come back again, Ryan. Again, I'll just cue you, pull through the heel here. Very good. So I want you to practice probably doing that roll to post position a fair bit. What we'll do is we'll just take Ryan back to the start though. So he'll come back, 2 hands on bell, knees together, navel and roll. All right, so if you feel like you've got the roll to post down pat, go back to the start and then put it all together. So it's pull and roll again. Firing range position. So remember, try and yell out the names as best as you can. Starfish. Left knee bent, because the kettlebell would be on this side. You've rolled from your left-hand side. Right hand out. Roll to post position. So again, that's that tricky bit that I was talking about. The next bit is tall sit. So Ryan will come up onto his hand and he's externally rotated his hand a little bit. So I would say his fingers are shooting away from him a bit. He's long through the spine again. So what he's not doing is letting this shoulder internally rotate. So he's trying to roll that shoulder or corkscrew it out. Okay, I think we'll add on the next bit because I feel like it helps you guys out a little bit. He'll do what we call the low sweep. So he'll bring his hip up a bit by squishing the bug, so pressing into the ground. He's also pressing into the ground with his left hand. He'll draw his knee through, but he's trying to get his knee pretty close to this hand here. And again, we're trying to get a bit of a straight line going on with his hand, knee, and foot. All right? So just thread your leg through again, Ryan, and take a seat. So this is where you might want to practice this bit before you come all the way down again. So up you come again, Ryan, but don't thread your knee through too far. Sort of get it in the wrong position. All right? That's what happens with some people. So that straight line I'm sort of looking for here, his knee is, I would say, too far forward there, and it's going to muck up the next bit. So he needs to pull his knee through to about here. Remember, visualize that straight line from hand, knee to foot. His chest is out, which is wicked, so his spine is nice and strong. Thread your leg through, Ryan, but don't go too far that way, Ryan. All right, we don't want you sliding all the way that way as well, because that is a lot of pressure through that shoulder joint. All right, so coming back up, Ryan. All right, we're just there, his chest is out. When he slides his leg through, we say, just take a seat, don't slide. So take your leg through, Ryan, not too far. This is not easy to hold. All right, there's a lot of demand on this postural position and through the hamstring underneath the leg here. All right, once you practice that a few times, coming back down, he's going to push away again and rotate that hand a bit. His chest is out, his posture's great, he's not collapsed. He'll push away again like so. Knees come together. 2 hands on bell. Navel, rolling back to the shoulder. So that's that bit that we're up to. Yes, there's a little bit. You practice it in its segments, you're definitely going to get it. We're back to the start again, just to make it a bit easier for you guys. Pull and roll, Ryan. Firing range position. Starfish. Okay, left knee's bent. Another elaboration, the kettlebell would be in his left hand because he's come from his left side. Right hand is parallel with the right leg. Roll to post position, Ryan. Chest is out. Great posture, shin's pretty vertical. Tall sit. He's up on his hands, he's long through the spine, he's not letting that shoulder internally rotate. Low sweep. He drives his hip up a bit, he pulls that knee through pretty close to that hand. So we're going to take you through to the end of the get up, and this is what I would usually do. From here, Ryan will straighten up into a lunge position, and then he'll windscreen wipe. So if we have a look at this leg here, he'll turn this leg so this leg, or shin I guess, is parallel with this quad. So he's in a lovely lunge position. You might need to adjust your front foot, which is fine. Ryan will lunge and come up, and you've reached the top of your get up, which is fantastic. Hooray, I hear you say. Ideally, at the top of the get up, with weight, and this will be the tricky part once again for some of you. This elbow here needs to be locked out. His bicep is in alignment with his ear. So, I'll show you what it looks like when it's not. All right? You're trying to get that there and not that sort of stuff. So nice and vertical. Shoulders are pulled down a bit. There's a bit of ab activation, so just pretend someone's hitting you in the stomach and you're tightening up a little bit. Glutes are on, quads are on. Let's reverse it back. So Ryan will lunge back with right leg, okay? So it has to be a decent sized lunge. If it's too short, then you find yourself a little bit tight for the next bit. Remember, it's the opposite of that windscreen wipe. Well, it still is a windscreen wipe. So he'll turn that leg. He'll walk his right hand down his quad and out to here. All right? He'll thread his right leg through. Remember, just taking that seat and coming down, back onto the elbow with posture, pushing away again, keeping that right shoulder away from his ear. He'll bring his two hands up onto the bell, knees together, kettlebell down to his navel and rolling onto his left shoulder. So guys, that is the Turkish Get Up without any weight. I want you to try and practice that. We do practice that get up as well by, I'll just show you very quickly, by placing a shoe on someone's hand. So once you feel like you've got all those movements down pat, even before adding any sort of weight to it, grab a shoe, you place it on your fist like so. You don't grip the shoe because otherwise that's just cheating. You're trying to balance the shoe on your fist, which is difficult. It's not easy, but this helps keep a vertical arm throughout the movement. So we'll just show you a tiny bit of what that looks like. Ryan, do your best without dropping the shoe. So if he keeps his arm vertical, all right, and he takes it nice and slow and steady, which is really important. Perfect, Ryan. Up you come. He's not going to drop that shoe. Right, down nice and slow. So remember, big lunge back, windscreen wipe, hand down leg, thread through, nice and easy, Ryan. Beautiful work. Notice how he's looking at the kettlebell as well as he starts coming down. Two hands on navel, roll. Guys, that was Turkish Get Up. Thank you so much for your time.